Aisha, thank you so much. Well, things are changing here in Connecticut when it comes to shopping. We've been talking a lot about this. The grocery bag tax takes effect tomorrow, which means that stores will now charge you 10 cents for every plastic bag as you're shopping. Joining us now to talk about how this change may impact you as you shop is Wayne Pesch, the president of the Connecticut Food Association. It's so nice to meet you.
Good morning, Maggie.
Thank you for stopping by. We've been talking about this at length since the news really broke. And the first question I have for you is, I kind of provided an overview, but can you share the background behind this new law? Because even though it's a topic of discussion now, there's quite a history behind it.
So our association has been working locally on the law for about 6 years. This is a global and international phenomenon that has taken root in Connecticut. We've got almost 22 local communities and towns that have either are considering an ordinance or have passed an ordinance on plastic bags. One of the things that we thought was important was to get some consistency and get a statewide law so that we can kind of get some consistency as it relates to how we operate our businesses.
Sure. What's the long-term goal here?
I think the long-term goal, well, consistency was one of the long-term goals. I think the other long-term goal was around source reduction.
Yeah.
There's almost 700 million bags that are put into production and distribution here in the state of Connecticut. And if you can think about the truckloads of product on these bags that go out into the environment, they end up in the wrong places many times. They end up in the blue bin, they end up in an incinerator. Most of them aren't recycled, even though they're recyclable. So we're going to eliminate a lot of that production and distribution of these items.
Now, it's a plastic bag, but this doesn't pertain to every single type of plastic bag that you might get at the grocery store or a different type of store. Can you kind of go over that and specify what exactly the 10 cents is going to apply to?
Sure. So the 10 cents is on the single-use checkout bag, right? The little thin polyethylene plastic bags that are out there. It's the one point I would make to consumers and to folks who go into stores tomorrow when the new law breaks is that this is has some depth and breadth to it. So this is, I was in Barnes & Noble on Friday and bought some books, and the cashier had said to me, well, if this was next week, I'd have to charge you 10 cents for the bag. And I was glad to hear that because, this is not just grocery stores. This is convenience stores, drug stores, big box stores, any restaurants. So anywhere you go, the idea would be that if you don't bring your own bag, then there will be a fee for that bag if it's a plastic bag.
One last question for you. What can shoppers do to prepare other than maybe the obvious, grab a reusable bag, but what to anticipate?
Well, I think initially some people won't be aware of it. I mean, we've put signs up in our stores, and I know cashiers and associates in many of the retail outlets have been talking about this with their customers, so there's a lot of buzz around it. But I think the initial reaction will be a lot of people will be walking out carrying things or not happy about the fact that they had to pay a dime today, but they didn't pay one yesterday. But I liken this law to the seatbelt law. Nobody wanted to be forced to put their seatbelt on 10 years ago, and it's a new normal, and it's what we do. And I think what you'll find here in the state is 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it will be the new normal. And people will be used to bringing their own bags into the stores.
All right. Well, Wayne, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Maggie,
thank you for
so nice
stopping by
to
and
meet
sharing
you.
your insight.